Assalamualaikum everyone, and a very good afternoon to you all. This is Sadia Promi, your instructor here at Onkobigan. So in today's class, we have already learned many different topics for English second paper, and we will be learning another very important topic, which is how to complete sentences using conditionals. So, because this is the part 1 section of this class, we will be understanding what are conditionals in the first place. Then we will be explaining why these conditionals are very important to be used in our English language sentences. We will also know that for these purposes of conditionals, how can these topics arrive in our exams. For those of you who are improving your English second paper, this is a very important topic, and we will be covering the first part of this lecture. So without any further ado, we will first start off by understanding what the meaning of a conditional is. So, the word conditional, of course, arrives from the word condition. And what does the word condition mean? Condition means whenever there is a specific choice or a specific remark that you must follow, and after that you have to continue with your explanation. What does this mean? This means that, let's say you have to wake up early only if you want to catch your school bus. But if you do not want to catch your school bus, if you want to walk there, or if you want to use your own private method of transportation, then you do not have to wake up that early. Then you can just wake up 10 minutes before school starts, for example. So, how did I particularly mention this entire condition? I have used a particular word which is if. So whenever we use the word if, it arises the importances of conditionals. As we can see here, sometimes conditionals can be called as if clauses. Why? Because the word conditional arises from the word if. Without using the word if, can we ever tell someone that this is the particular thing that you have to do before doing something else? No. So, it is also known as if clauses. Once again, we see a word which is clause here, which is another grammar topic. And what is a clause? Let's revise. A clause is a 2 or 3 group of words where the main purpose of the clause is to provide an additional meaning to that sentence. And the difference between a clause and a phrase is, a clause will of course have a verb there. A verb that will definitely give it a strong meaning that a phrase does not. Okay, so they describe the result of something that might happen in the present or future. So if clauses are useful to make us understand that there is something that might happen. So this means that we are unsure, uncertain of the significance of this happening. Now, or might have happened but didn't in the past. So there are actually 2 different things that we should consider. First of all, maybe there has to be something that might happen in either the present or the future, but we do not know about it. And secondly, there is something that probably might have happened in the past, or maybe it did happen or it didn't happen in the past, but we are not sure about it. And that will definitely be in the past tense. So all the 3 uses of tenses are definitely very important while looking at the conditionals. Now, they are made using different English verb tenses. So, we understand that tenses are definitely important whenever we want to provide a specific conditional. Okay, so initially we are trying to say that we can make a 0 conditional sentence with 2 present simple verbs, one in the if clause and one in the main clause. So, what do we have? We have 2 present simple verbs. So, we also must remember whether or not we can recall the different types of tenses while we learn conditional. So, what was present simple tense? Present simple tense has a structure as follows: subject plus main form of the verb in its base form. It will not have any ed form or a participle form or verb with ing form, nothing. It will just be the main form of the verb, then the object, then any extension if we want to follow, right? So it is important that first of all, we can make a zero conditional sentence with two present simple verbs. One in the if clause and one in the main clause. So what will our sentence contain? Our sentence will contain two different clauses. The first clause that has to be that has to contain the conditional is actually the if clause, and the second clause that has to be the main clause, there the conditional will not be present. So let's see. The first rule is if there is if plus a present simple tense, then this will be the first half. This will be what? This will be the if clause, or this is the subordinate clause. Now what is the main clause? From this to this is our main clause. So the first half of the sentence, or even the second half, it depends on where the word if is. Wherever, in whichever clause you start with the word if, that will be the if clause or the subordinate clause, and the other clause will actually be the main clause. Okay. So this conditional is used when the result will always happen. So if there is something that you are certain of that must always happen, we will use present simple tense with the if clause as well as the main clause. For example, if you look at the sun, you will notice a huge sky. No, let's not just say sun. You will notice harmful rays directed towards your eye. So I have said that if you look at the sun, I did not say if you looked at the sun or if you were looking at the sun or if you have been looking. No, I have just said if you look at the sun, because whenever you look at the sun, whether it be directly in the morning or in the afternoon, whenever you look at the sun, you will notice all of the rays right at you. So both of these has to have the present simple tense. So let's look at a few more examples. So what will be the main condition here? This is when the result will always happen. If you see somewhere the result is always happening, that is when we can use this zero conditional. Okay? So conditional is actually four types. There's zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional. So in this class, we are actually describing all these four types with examples. So the example of a zero conditional sentence is, if water reaches 100 degrees, it always boils. This is because we know the boiling point of water is 100 degrees. So if water reaches 100 degrees, here reaches is simple present tense, and here always boils. This boils is also simple present tense. If people eat too much, they get fat. So people eat. Eat here is simple present tense. They get fat. Get here is simple present tense. So it does not matter which country you live in, which age you are in, which gender you are in. Just in general, if any person or if people together collectively, if they eat too much, they of course are going to get fat, right? So anything that you see is going to have a specific genre where the result will always happen. I will put a zero conditional. Next, if you touch a fire, you get burned. So I could also say you will get burned. That's fine as well. But here, it's like always, whenever you touch a fire, you of course will get burned, right? Then people die if they don't eat. So all of these are facts. So whenever we state facts, we technically use the zero conditional. Now, let's look at a few exercises where we are turning all of these blanks into different zero conditionals. If I dash, and in the bracket you see wake up. So what can I put here? I will put here, if I wake up late, I dash late for work. You see here, there is a be verb here. Do we remember what are the be verbs? There are 5 be verbs. Am, is, are, was, and were. So what can we put here? If I wake up late, I am late for work. Or To some extenses, you can also say I will be late for work, and in this case, this will be part is we know simple future tense. Both here will be correct. If my husband cooks, he dash burn the food. So he burns the food. Why? Because you are trying to say that every single time your husband cooks, he burns the food. You're not trying to say that tomorrow if my husband cooks, then he will burn it. Okay? So you have to understand what the particular sentence means and then you will put. Then, if Julie dash a hat. So you're trying to say that if Julie not wear, so if she does not wear a hat. So if Julie does not wear a hat, she dash gets sunstroke. So I'll say she gets sunstroke because this is something that always happens no matter what the occasion is. If children, then you see not eat here. So if children do not eat, so you also have to understand the number of the nouns, whether they are singular or plural. Because children here is plural, I must use a plural verb. And vice versa. Julie is singular, so I have used a singular verb. Okay. If children do not eat well, they dash be healthy. So they not be. So they don't be healthy. Okay. Then if you dash mix water and electricity. So I'll just say mix. If you mix water and electricity, you dash a shop. You get a shop. So it's not like that if there is any particular condition where if you mix water and electricity, you will not get a shop, right? So you have to look at all of the conditions that there are, and that is how you have to make your own rule.